I always imagined our first camping trip would be about the campfire, sleeping in a tent, and maybe spotting a little wildlife. But after spending just a few hours here, I realized camping isn't really about any of those things. It's about slowing down and enjoying the nature. I think that's why so many people in the US wait all year for summer. And they camp so much. Today we'll be checking into our very first tent cabin in Big Sur, sharing what surprised us the most as first time campers or, to be honest, glampers. And a few things we learned that I wish someone had told us before this trip. This is the second time we visited Big Sur, and last time when we visited, we did all possible hikes around Big Sur. But this time we wanted to enjoy camping, and we just hiked few places, not as much, even though we love hiking. Finally, after spending the day exploring Big Sur, we finally arrived at Fernwood Resort. This is the same place we stayed last time when we visited, and we absolutely loved this place, so we booked it again. Since this was our first camping trip, we decided to stay in one of the tent cabins instead of bringing our own tent. It felt like the perfect introduction, close enough to nature to experience camping, but comfortable enough that we could simply enjoy it instead of worrying about setting everything up from scratch. And I didn't want to overwhelm myself since this was our first camping experience, or you can say glamping. I think glamping is a great option for first time campers like us who want to experience and learn things first, and then I think it would be easier to have a buffer in the middle instead of directly getting into camping. So I thought let's book the tent cabin instead of the tent sites, and next time when we visit we can definitely go for a camping. As we walked around the campground, one thing immediately stood out. Nobody seemed to be in a hurry. Some families were preparing dinner, a few families were sitting outside reading, children were riding their bikes through the campground, others were simply sitting in campground in camping chairs and talking. It made me realize that camping culture here isn't really about checking activities off of a list. It's about giving yourself permission to slow down. I also started understanding why people book these campgrounds months in advance. California summers are beautiful, but they are also surprisingly short. Once the weather warms up, people make the most of every weekend. Campgrounds, national parks, cabins, and even picnic areas fill up so quickly because spending time outdoors is a huge part of summer here. To be honest, one thing I was really curious about before this trip was what do people actually do while camping? And now I think I know the answer. It's not much, and that's exactly the point, maybe. Camping isn't designed to keep you entertained or busy every single minute. Instead, it creates space for conversations, quiet moments, and little activities you really make time for at home. For us, that activity was painting.
Nice, no?
We bought a couple of canvases, acrylic paints, some snacks and drinks, and turned this afternoon into our own little sip and paint date. I painted a campfire scene inspired by the campground around us, while my husband painted the famous Bixby Bridge from earlier in the day. Neither of us honestly finished our paintings, but somehow finishing them actually didn't matter. For almost 2 hours, we were completely present, and I feel when you sketch a place, you actually absorb the details of that place. Otherwise, we nowadays tend to move on very quickly. We just click a picture, take a video, and move on. But sketching or journaling in general really helped me to soak in the details of that place, and not only the details, the emotions of that place that I was feeling at that point of time. So it was a new thing for me. I loved this new experience. For almost 2 hours, we were completely present. No phones, no notifications, no feeling that we needed to be somewhere else. Just paint, conversations, and the sound of birds all around us. One unexpected highlight of the campground was definitely the bird life. If you're someone who enjoys nature, you could spend hours just watching the trees. One bird that immediately caught my attention was the Stellar's jay. Its bright blue metallic feathers almost looked unreal to me. As first time campers, or glampers as you would technically say, we definitely learned a few things, and the biggest one, pack lighter than you think you need. At home, it's easy to convince yourself you'll need every extra item that you're carrying. But once you're carrying things between your car and your campsite, you quickly realize that simple is better. For camping, less is always more. Comfortable layers, a flashlight, reusable water bottles, easy to make meals, and a few activities you genuinely enjoy. That's really all you need. Another thing was that the shower and the washroom area here were absolutely great. They were clean, maintained, and I am coming back to the river again. It's a small water body here, and it's so beautiful. Honestly, I just keep coming back here. People are swimming, they are fishing, and it's so good. Another tip I'd give is to plan your meals before you arrive. Camping doesn't have to mean elaborate cooking. Sometimes simple food tastes even better when you're surrounded by trees, fresh air. I think prepping your meal and already deciding what you're going to cook in the campsite is really helpful. We marinated some chicken, and also we bought some extra chicken. We bought chips and salsa, we bought corn, and we bought some seasonings and stuff. I also carried some cut veggies from home. That is, you're going to see that in the next vlog what I made with them. It was so amazing. So yeah, in total, I think meal prep did a great job in helping us to enjoy the moment rather than just scratching our heads over what we are going to cook and how long it would take. As the afternoon slowly turned into evening, you could hear conversations from nearby campsites, but somehow everything still felt peaceful. We finally gathered around our own fire pit, watched the first flames come to life. Sitting there surrounded by towering redwoods, I had a feeling that the day wasn't quite over yet, and I was right. Because once the sun disappeared, the campground had a few more surprises waiting for us. That, though, is a story for next vlog. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know your favorite camping moments in the comments below.